Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's Reddit stories are from Am I the Butthole? Story 1 is by Deliphone. Am I the butthole for pretending another girl was my girlfriend? I'm 25 male and I was out with my girlfriend, who's 25 female, and some other friends. We were drinking and having a good time. I smoke, trying to quit, and went outside alone for a smoke. I was standing in front of the bar, kind of a short walk away. I don't like standing right in front of the door because the smoke gets into the bar or establishment. This frantic-looking woman is walking at a normal pace, and there's a guy a couple feet behind her. She walks to me and says, "Hey baby, I'm glad you're waiting where you said you would." I was confused at first, but I quickly understood the situation. This guy was weird, and on the way up he was muttering weird things like, "Just give me your number, you're so pretty, I just want to talk to you," etc. When I told someone else this story, I was asked why I didn't react when I saw her walking and heard that. And the answer is that it all happened very fast and I had been drinking. Once I put it together, I said, "Hey honey, been waiting for you." And she put her arm around me, and it took longer than I would have liked for the guy to leave. I was being gentle, saying, "All right, goodbye buddy, and we've got to get back home." Eventually the guy left, but not because she wanted him to leave, because I kept insisting. Nothing bad happened at all. My girlfriend had been watching from the window and must have only caught the end part of it and saw the other girl with her arm around me. My girlfriend is not the type to cause a public scene. She'll wait until a private time to air her grievances. The girl had no money for an Uber and was planning on walking home but felt too nervous, so I arranged for an Uber to pick her up and waited outside with her until the car came. Jumping ahead to when I was home with my girlfriend, she asked me, what was that all about, and wanted to know why her arm was around me and why I stayed after the creep left. She put together that the guy was being weird, but she said I shouldn't have let her put her arm around me, even though after the guy left she removed it. None of my explanations were working, so I just turned to her and said, "What would you have wanted me to do? And if you were in that situation, what would you have wanted the guy to do?" She just couldn't answer and said to stop flipping it. I enjoyed reading this story, but I wanted to share something that I actually learned from the comments down below. There's a Japanese word called yandere, I believe. It looks like yandeer when I first saw it, but I had to look up how to pronounce it and everything. And apparently it is when anime-style girlfriends get way too obsessively attached and potentially violently so. Not always violently so, but I guess the term in Japanese means when a girl becomes absolutely obsessed with you to the point that you're in danger in a way. But that's just based on my little bit of research. I know there's so many people out there that are far more intelligent than I am, so if you know what yandere means, or yandeer, then please inform me or clarify. Down in the comments by JustBeDecent333, you did the right thing. I'd frankly be a bit concerned by your girlfriend's reaction and what it might indicate for the future. Under that by Errant Knight 1. Yep, that was a strange reaction. You might want to gently back out of this relationship. I'm getting some yandere vibes. Obsessively jealous people are no fun to date at all. Your girlfriend was at the window and saw the ending of it, so she knows there was some guy trying to hit on this random girl, and that you guys were both engaged with this guy that wouldn't go away. And as soon as creepy guy left, she took her arm away from you. It's not like you put your arm around her. And even if you had, you did the right thing in this situation. Some guys come off way too strong and won't take no for an answer. And I know that girls in the past have appreciated when a guy stepped in to kind of rescue them. Not always do they want to be rescued. There's a lot of independent girls that think they're strong enough to handle a guy, but when a guy won't take no for an answer and starts following you around at a bar, it's so awkward. Our next story is by Laughing Housemate TA. Am I the butthole for laughing at my housemate when he suggested I not shower while on my period? Just a trigger warning in case anybody's grossed out by stories involving a girl's cycle. That's in here. You may want to skip this one. I'm a 31 female and I live in a share house. One of the housemates, Jack, who's a 30 male, has never lived with a woman outside of his mother, but likes to say that he is aware of women's issues and calls himself a feminist. For instance, he doesn't agree with the saying, no uterus, no opinion, because, quote, it's my job to be informed about any issues that could affect me if I become a father or a husband, quote. Which is fine until it came to this issue. So, like most biological women, I have periods. However, I cannot use tampons or cups due to a condition called vaginismus. It's pads all the time for me. Yay! I know, the shock, shower during this time. Wow! I prepare a new pad onto a clean pair of undies, shower as normal, dry myself off in the shower, and then step straight into the undies. And obviously, check the bathroom for mess. Jack's never complained, nor has anyone else, so I figured my system was working. Cue today, and I can't shower for 48 hours due to a heart monitor test. I was jokingly complaining about how I was going to survive without my nightly shower, and Jack looked up confused and said, "How is this any different from when you're on your period?" I asked him what he meant, and he said, "Well, you can't shower on your period unless you use a tampon." And I laughed, because I thought he was joking. He has shown before that he was at least semi-educated on women, which he got angry at. Jack said, "Wait, what do you do?" I said slowly, "I shower?" I wasn't getting it, I'm afraid. Jack said, "Without protecting my bathroom?" He does not own the house, and then went off. Apparently, my period is unhygienic. It can cause infection if left in the shower floor, and he was under the impression that I hadn't been showering for a week when I had my period, or using tampons. I said that due to reasons I can't use tampons, and he told me then I'm banned from showering when I'm on my period, which I laughed again at, which I did apologize for, and said, "I'm sorry for laughing, but the audacity of that statement." I told Jack he has no way of enforcing this, nor would I be sticking to this, and he said, "Fine, then every time you shower, you need to bleach the bathroom afterwards." To which I couldn't help but laugh again, apologizing, but saying, "We're in a share house. That's not reasonable when other people need to shower or use the toilet, and considering I'm sure at least somebody else pees in the shower, is ridiculous to only enforce on me." I brought that up and he said, "Nobody does that. I've never heard of that in my life." So I just had to walk away. Jack's been complaining to other housemates about this and saying we need to watch out for me. And we all just think he's absurd for banning me, but a couple think I should at least try and compromise. So I'm confused. Am I the butthole? No, you're a girl. Girls love to complain about how guys in the bathroom are disgusting, but we're just as disgusting. Human beings are disgusting. Natural processes are disgusting. He can't ban you from the shower. There's no way to enforce it. You're free to just keep taking showers. And you already rinse everything if necessary. I'm sure that if there was a stubborn something there, you would clean it yourself. Rinsing it is adequate with hot water. Maybe it's happened, but I have never ever once heard of somebody getting an infection because they had to share a shower with a female whose time of the month it is. In the comments underneath, there were some pretty funny replies, and people were like blown away that this guy's 30 years old and he has no idea that that's just the norm when you live with a female. A lot of people loved this one comment that I don't have a screenshot of, but the guy said, "Just wait till he learns that his entire life while growing up and sharing a shower with his mother that she probably didn't wear tampons in the shower when she was on her period either." There were also a couple compromise offers. There's some sprays that you can get that do an antibacterial wash. You could do that, or you can just not worry about it because it's unenforceable and absurd. Our last story today is by Impressive Wing 8298. Am I the butthole for having my nephew move in with me after he was disowned? My kids are angry with me. I'm a male in his 50s and I have 2 kids, Jamie, who's 24 male, and Mia, who's 22 female. Their mother being my ex-wife, Sarah, who's a female in her 50s. Our marriage fell apart when Mia was still in diapers. Sarah was having an affair with my younger brother, and she became pregnant with my nephew, Caleb, who's a male in his 20s. Sarah and my brother ended up getting together, although eventually my brother abandoned them and packed his bags and moved to another state when Caleb was around 2, and to this day never sees his son. We had shared custody of Jamie and Mia, but they gradually chose to spend more and more time at my home when they became teenagers, as they felt that their mom liked Caleb better than them. Since lockdown, Sarah has changed a lot as a person. She rededicated her life to Christ and joined a very cult-like online church. Oh God. Recently, someone from his college outed Caleb as gay, and Sarah has disowned him as her son, and ever so graciously gave him a week to get out of her house. Sarcasm, of course. I reached out to Caleb and told him he is welcome to stay with me for free so that he can finish college. There's no way I could watch a family member become homeless without trying to help them. After some talking things out, he moved in, and I had him take Jamie's old bedroom. My kids haven't lived at home in a while now, so I have the space, and it's actually quite nice to have Caleb's company. The problem is that Jamie and Mia are both extremely upset with me for letting Caleb move in, considering their history with him and Sarah showing him favoritism. They say that there are other family members who could have taken him in. My parents offered, but they do live in another country, and that I should have asked them beforehand to consider their feelings. Jamie now even refuses to let me see my infant granddaughter until I get Caleb to leave. If I'm a butthole, how can I make this right? First things first, you're not a butthole. Your kids, for some reason, are. They're so jealous of the attention that their mother gave to this kid when he was younger that they're trying to make it affect his comfort now. And there's no reason for him to be punished for any of this. A couple episodes ago, there was a girl who was in her 20s who was saying extremely homophobic things about a couple and then wanted to be able to live with them. There was good reason to not allow her to move in. This person's very compassionate. And even though this kid belongs to his brother, he's taking him in to let him finish college. That's not even that long. There were some good comments underneath this. One is a super helpful post that actually tells them how they can deal with this in a loving way. And the other one is just somebody who breaks it down and says, you're not the bad guy too. Underneath by Salted Fish. Let me get this straight. Your adult children have moved out, and yet they think they can tell you who can move in? The minute they grew up and moved out, they relinquished any kind of say in the household, what little they ever had. And the favoritism thing they're whining about, A, isn't Caleb's fault, and B, obviously wasn't enough to protect Caleb from his homophobic mother. You're not just saving a family member from the streets, you're providing shelter for a young gay man who otherwise would be far worse off. I'd be really disappointed in my kids if they did this. Not the butthole. Your kids in this are old enough that they deserve a butthole score for this. Like, they should have some resentment for their mother in this, not Caleb. And then the super helpful comment that got red border and everything, highlighted because it was so helpful, by Orinda Sarnia, and this one's beautifully written too. They were replying to the one that I just read, so their first statement has to do with that top comment. I think this is part of what they need to say to their children, but I think OP needs to temper this with a bit of empathy as well. Teens don't move out of their mother's house because of a little favoritism. My guess is things were not pretty before they switched over to OP's house, and he probably never got all the story because they were confused and hurting teenagers, and probably never processed the entirety of it themselves. It also wasn't that long ago. I think whatever OP says needs to be bracketed with a strong helping of, you two are my children. I love you more than I could ever love anyone else, ever. But I also won't stand around and watch my ex-wife ruin another kid's life because of her newfound homophobia. I offered Caleb a place here so he can finish his degree. No other family would have been able to offer him a place that would allow it. I understand you're deeply upset with me, and I'm willing to listen to how you feel, including more about what happened with your mother when you were younger. It never occurred to me that this choice would be upsetting to you two, and quite frankly, the strength of your reactions has me second-guessing a lot, including whether I did enough to protect you back then, if I should have done more to get you out of her house sooner. I hope we can come to a place where you feel secure in my love for you, and can place the blame for all of this squarely at your mother's feet where it belongs, not Caleb's. Nah, OP's children are genuinely scared due to past trauma. OP can't tough love them into understanding. He needs to love them. See, reading that out loud to myself, I read most of this paragraph before, but it definitely made me feel differently about the kids being buttholes here. There is something else that went on during this. As they said at the very beginning, kids don't move out of a mother's house because of a little favoritism. Their mother sounds like the type of person that she could have done bad things to them or raised them poorly. Well, I hope it turns around for you, OP. You are not the butthole in this case. You're compassionate and awesome, and I'm so glad you're helping this kid out. Even though he's not yours, and he's actually the product of a relationship that I'm sure hurt you a lot. To this day, maybe, but definitely in the past. Our stories for today have come to a close. Until we meet again, have a beautiful day.